Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're gathered here in front of the White House on January 19th to commemorate East Turkestan's Genocide Recognition and Remembrance Day. Firstly, we'll start off with the playing of the East Turkestan National Anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, our dear friends, allies, and all those who stand for freedom, justice, and human dignity. Today, January 19th, 2025, we stand together in front of the White House to honor and remember the victims of one of the gravest atrocities, ongoing atrocities of our time. We gather here on East Turkestan Genocide Recognition and Remembrance Day to shine light on the millions of Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, and other Turkic peoples who have suffered and continue to suffer under the ongoing genocide perpetrated by the Chinese Communist regime. 75 years ago, on October 12, 1949, the Chinese Communist regime invaded East Turkestan, overthrowing the independent East Turkestan Republic by December 22, 1949. This marked the beginning of a relentless campaign of colonization, occupation, and assimilation aimed at erasing the identity, culture, and very existence of the people of East Turkestan. For decades, the world remained silent, and that silence has allowed unimaginable horrors to unfold. In May 2014, under the leadership of Xi Jinping, the Chinese regime escalated its campaign into what can only be described as a full-scale genocide. Chinese dictator Xi Jinping ordered his forces to, quote, wipe them out completely, destroy them root and branch, break their lineage, break their roots, break their connections, and break their origins, show them absolutely no mercy, end quote. These words were not just rhetoric. They were a declaration of war against the Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, and other Turkic peoples of East Turkestan. Today, millions of our people remain imprisoned in modern-day concentration camps, subject to enslavement through forced labor and systematic torture. Over 580,000 Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples have been sentenced to prison terms ranging from 5 years to life, making East Turkestan the region with the highest incarceration rate in the world. Hundreds of thousands of East Turkestani women have been forcibly sterilized, and over 3.7 million of our babies against their mothers' wills. This is a deliberate attempt to erase entire generations of the East Turkestani people. Similarly, nearly 1 million Uyghur and other Turkic children have been forcibly taken from their families and placed in state-run so-called orphanages, indoctrination internment camps, where they are stripped of their identity, language, culture, and faith. Over 16,000 mosques and other cultural sites have been destroyed, and countless East Turkestani women have been forced into marrying the Chinese colonizers, an act of state-sponsored rape aimed at dismantling our heritage and dignity. Perhaps most horrifying of all, at least 150,000 Uyghur and other Turkic youth have been murdered for their organs, which are then sold on black markets to fuel profit for Beijing's genocidal regime. The atrocities represent not just crimes against East Turkestan, but crimes against all of humanity. But amid this darkness, there have been glimmers of hope. On January 19, 2021, the United States, under the first Trump administration, led by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, formally recognized China's atrocities in East Turkestan as genocide and crimes against humanity. This was a historic moment, marking a critical step in the global acknowledgement of our people's suffering. Since then, numerous parliaments across the world have joined in recognizing these crimes. But recognition alone is not enough. Words without action are empty promises. We extend our congratulations to President Trump on his upcoming inauguration tomorrow, January 20th, 2025. We urge the Trump administration to honor its commitments to never again by taking bold and meaningful actions to end this genocide. The time for half measures and symbolic gestures have passed. We call on the United States and the international community to address the root cause of this atrocity, the Chinese colonization and occupation of East Turkestan. China's occupation of East Turkestan is the foundation of the genocide, and it must be dismantled if there can be any hope of justice, freedom, and dignity for our people. We demand that the United States and all of the international community formally recognize East Turkestan as an occupied country and condemn China's illegal occupation and colonization. We demand that the international community hold China accountable for its crimes through international courts and impose meaningful consequences for its actions. We demand that nations around the world support the East Turkestani people's rightful, just struggle for independence, as this is the only way to guarantee the survival, freedom, and very dignity of our people. Ending this genocide is not just about saving lives. It is about preserving a culture, a history, and a people who have called East Turkestan home for thousands of years. It is about sending a message to the world that genocide will not be tolerated, no matter where it occurs or who commits it. Silence and inaction are and the blood of our people stains not just Beijing's hands, but the hands of all those who choose to look away. Let us not forget the countless individuals who stood up against Beijing's genocidal regime, many who have paid the ultimate price for their courage, from brave whistleblowers who exposed the concentration camps to activists risking their lives to speak the truth. Their sacrifices remind us that the fight for justice requires not only words, but meaningful action. Their stories continue to inspire us to keep pushing forward, no matter how insurmountable the odds may seem. To the people of East Turkestan who remained imprisoned, enslaved, and oppressed, we hear you, we see you, and we will not stop fighting for you. Your resilience is a testament to the strength of our nation, and your courage fuels our determination. We will not rest until East Turkestan is free and independent, and your human rights, dignity, and very existence are safeguarded. To the international community, we again call them to act. The time to act is now. Recognize East Turkestan as an occupied country. Stand with the oppressed, not the oppressors. Uphold the values of freedom, justice, and human rights that you claim to defend. History will judge us not by the words, but by our actions. The stakes could not be any higher. China's genocidal campaign is not just an attack on the people of East Turkestan. It is an attack on the principles of human dignity and freedom that bind all of humanity. If we fail to stop these atrocities, we set a dangerous precedent that allows the world's most oppressive regimes to continue their crimes unchecked. The time for hesitation has long passed. The time for action is now. Let today be a turning point. Let it be a day when the world says enough is enough. Let it be the day when we honor the victims of genocide, not with silence, but with action. Together we can and we must end this atrocity and ensure that the people of East Turkestan can once again live in freedom, sovereignty, and peace. May the memory of the victims fuel our resolve, and maybe one day, may we soon see a free and independent East Turkestan. To the global community who are watching and listening today, we urge you, do not underestimate your power. Advocate, speak out, pressure your leaders to act. Share the stories, the atrocities, the horrors of East Turkestan with those who are unaware. Every voice counts and every action matters. Together, we can bring the light of hope to a place that has endured far too much darkness. Thank you. Act now! Act now! Act the genocide now! Act the genocide now! Act now, America! Act now! Never again means action! End China's ongoing genocide now! Never again means justice! Never again means justice! Never again means justice! Independence for East Turkestan! Independence for East Turkestan! Uphold your promise of never again! Uphold the promise of never again! Uphold your promise of never again! Uphold the promise of never again! Recognize East Turkestan! Recognize East Turkestan! Recognize East Turkestan! Recognize East Turkestan! Act to end China's ongoing genocide! Act to end China's ongoing genocide! Justice for East Turkestan! Justice for East Turkestan! Justice for East Turkestan! Justice for Uyghurs! Justice for Uyghurs! Justice for Kazakhs! Justice for Kazakhs! Justice for all Turkic peoples! Justice for all Turkic people! China's genocide must end! Genocide must end! Independence for East Turkestan! Independence for East Turkestan! China's genocide must end! China's genocide must end! Independence for East Turkestan! China's colonization must end! China's colonization must end! China's colonization must end! China's colonization must end! End Chinese occupation now! End Chinese occupation now! Recognize East Turkestan as an occupied country! Recognize East Turkestan as an occupied country. Support East Turkestan's independence. Support East Turkestan's independence now. Chinese occupation fuels genocide. Chinese occupation fuels genocide. Independence for East Turkestan ends the genocide. Independence for East Turkestan ends the genocide. Stop the genocide. Recognize East Turkestan. Stop the genocide. Support East Turkestan now. Xi Jinping is a genocidal criminal. Xi Jinping is a genocidal criminal. Take Xi Jinping to The Hague. Take Xi Jinping to The Hague. 75 years of occupation ended now. 75 years of occupation ended now. 75 years of colonization ended now. 75 years of colonization ended now. Global freedom needs East Turkestan's independence. Global freedom needs East Turkestan's independence. Human dignity needs East Turkestan's liberation. Human dignity needs East Turkestan's liberation. America, uphold your promise of never again. America, uphold your promise of never again. America, take a stand. Independence for East Turkestan. America, take a stand. Independence for East Turkestan. And Chinese imperialism. Independence for East Turkestan. And Chinese imperialism. Independence for East Turkestan. Stop Chinese colonialism. Support East Turkestan now. Stop Chinese colonialism. Support East Turkestan now. No to China's genocide. Yes to East Turkestan's independence. No to China's genocide. Yes to East Turkestan's independence. No to Chinese colonization. Yes to East Turkestan's liberation. No to Chinese colonization. Yes to East Turkestan's liberation. stop the genocide now!
China, 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 get out of East Turkestan 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 now!
China, end the occupation 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 now!
Stop China's colonial empire!
Stop China's colonial power!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Stop China's ongoing genocide!
Stop China's ongoing genocide!
Liberation for East Turkestan!
Liberation for East Turkestan!
Stop Chinese occupation!
Stop Chinese occupation!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Independence for East Turkestan!
Act now, America!
Act now, America!
Act now, America!
Act now, America!
Act in the genocide now!
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 Never again means action!
Never again means action!
End the genocide now!
End the genocide now!
Thank you everyone for joining us today. We will end our demonstration short here because it's raining and it's very cold. So we thank everyone for watching, and we again urge the international community, our supporters, our allies, to act in any way that they can to end China's ongoing campaign of colonization, genocide, and occupation in East Turkestan. Unfortunately, this genocide is still ongoing even in 2025. At this very moment, millions of our people continue to be enslaved, continue to be interned in concentration camps, continue to be imprisoned. And so we call on the international community to take meaningful action. And what does this meaningful action mean? Meaningful action means, one, the priority should be to recognize the root, to address the root of the ongoing genocide, to address the root of the ongoing atrocities, and to find a way to ensure meaningful justice and ensure lasting peace for our people. And only the way that we can obtain justice, peace, and ensure the very survival of our people is by restoring our country's independence. Because without our own sovereign, independent state, there's no way that we can guarantee our freedoms, our human rights, and our very existence. Unfortunately, it's been 75 years East Turkestan has been colonized, has been occupied. And for 75 years, we've been beating the drum of human rights. We pleaded the world to protect our human rights, to ensure our human rights, but not a single country, not the United Nations, not a single organization, not any single state has been able to ensure our human rights. For us, the only way to ensure that very human rights, to ensure that we survive, is by having our own independent state, like we have been for thousands of years. And only then can we guarantee our people's human rights. Because unfortunately, the UN is not going to come to ensure our human rights. No country is going to come to ensure our human rights. No organization is going to come and ensure our human rights for us. Only our own independent state can be the sole guarantor of our human rights and our existence. That's why, for those across the world, especially those who are our supporters, our allies, it is critical to recognize this fact. We need not to address the symptoms anymore. We need to address the disease itself, to address the root of this genocide, and that is Chinese occupation and colonization of East Turkestan. Until we address this, until we resolve this, Addressing the symptoms will not do anything for us, as we have seen. Despite many countries recognizing it as genocide, crimes against humanity, this genocide continues even at this very moment. So if y'all are truly committed to the principles of human rights, if y'all are truly committed to justice, to humanity, then you have no choice but to recognize and condemn Chinese occupation of East Turkestan and Chinese colonization of East Turkestan. And you have no choice but to respect our people's right to external self-determination. No choice but to respect that the only way and recognize the fundamental truth that the only way that we can end this ongoing genocide, the only way that we can safeguard the very human rights that everyone preaches, the very freedoms that everyone preaches, the very existence of our nation is by restoring our national independence. Thank you. We ask everyone to, at the very least, to share this message, to speak out against this atrocity, to call on your elected officials to act, to share the atrocities that are happening in East Turkestan with those who might not know about it, and to act in any way that you can, whether it's a social media post, whether it's, writing a letter to your member of Congress, whether it's, organizing events, demonstrations, whatever things that you can do that you are capable of doing, we ask you to help in that way. Thank you, and may God bless you. And we hope that the Trump administration, which will be coming to office after the inauguration tomorrow, will uphold their genocide designation and take meaningful action to hold China accountable, to help not only East Turkestan, but to help the United States. Because China is not just a threat to East Turkestan. China is a threat to humanity. The genocide that it's undertaking in East Turkestan, the atrocities that it's committing, it wants to export it across the world. The surveillance state that it has in East Turkestan, it wants to export it across the world. Not just in neighboring countries, but even here into the United States. So if anyone who values their freedom, who values their human rights, who values their dignity, the fight for East Turkestan is not just a fight of the people of East Turkestan. It's the fight of the whole of humanity. It's the fight for humanity's future. So please act in any way you can, and God bless. Thank you.
Stop.